You wouldn't steal a TV. You wouldn't steal a DVD. You wouldn't download a car. You wouldn't find someone who's hosting a private server, taking the intellectual property of a billion-dollar company, making some changes to their game, hosting it, distributing it for free, opening up a donation shop that you can give money to get cool in-game items for. You wouldn't do that, right? They were talking about private servers. World of Warcraft private servers, to be specific, but there's private servers for just about every MMO out there. I'm going to take you to this website. If you've ever been to a website like this growing up, you would just, you probably had malware on your computer. You were probably a LimeWire kid. But no shade to Extreme Top 100, but these websites, look, they're still even formatted in a 4:3 aspect ratio because they haven't changed. We grew up playing these games, downloading these games, going to these websites. And I'm sure our parents hated it because the computer was slow as hell. But you had to do what you had to do. You couldn't afford that $15 a month, so you went to a website like this, downloaded as many servers as you could, found your favorite one, and played the hell out of it. That was my experience growing up, at least. So I'm sure a few people can have that message resonate with them. Private servers, they're, in my opinion, they're very important to World of Warcraft Classic's development. Arguably, they're the only reason that World of Warcraft Classic is even a thing. You think you do, but you don't. But you do. And that's why World of Warcraft Classic is a thing. And we all can thank Nostalrius for this. 800,000 accounts created, 2 million visits on their website each month at their peak. Nostalrius was a movement. It was a stick it to the you think you do but you don't mentality. It was a one-times Blizz-like classic experience. It was reliving the glory days. It was going back and showing that this is the type of thing we want. And we're going to speak with our numbers. And speaking with their numbers, they did. Now, Nostalrius ran for quite a while. I remember playing it in college. And eventually, Blizzard slapped them on the wrist, sent them that cease and desist letter, and they ended up shutting down servers. It was a sad day. I remember finding out that day and storming into this studio class that I had and yelling with my friends about how angry I was. They had no idea what I was talking about because it was this extremely niche thing. But I was pretty furious, and I can imagine a lot of you were too. But it led to one of the greatest things in modern Blizzard history, in my opinion, and that is the launch of Classic WoW. And seeing Blizzard kind of backtrack on their you think you do, but you don't. And I think it's J. Allen Brack that said that. And then he went up on stage and he said, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? Mine's cookies and cream, but I heard a lot of you like vanilla. Looks like we did, even though you thought we didn't. And then we got Classic World of Warcraft. And I think the tides are changing right now. I think we can see it with the massive lawsuit going out with Turtle WoW. People want Classic Plus, and I think Blizzard is waking up to that. And they already knew this beforehand, and that was Season of Discovery. Season of Discovery had a lot of good content added to it, and it was the first foray into a Classic Plus experience for us, at least an official one. And I think we can thank partially private servers and partially, our loud voices, saying that we want Classic Plus. And it turned out really well. The turnout numbers were great. Tons of people came to play Season of Discovery. Now, it tapered off because of a bad schedule. The phases weren't really the best. The content drip was a little slow, and not too much had changed. And they had added a bunch of features that people didn't like. And I think we voiced our opinions, and they know that Nightmare Incursions were bad. They know the rune system was bad. I think they know that there was a lot of features that they added in Season of Discovery that were just kind of shitty for the most part. And I truly believe Blizzard's going to learn from that experience. Take the good content, remove the bad content, and move forward to a Classic Plus that I think a majority of people will like. It'll never make everybody happy, of course, but, that's kind of life, kind of gaming in general. So, we'll talk about the turtle in the room. So Turtle WoW, obviously incredibly popular Classic World of Warcraft server. and they're being sued by Blizzard for being too good of a private server. They had implemented a whole host of changes. A bunch of new content, new zones, new dungeons, new raids, kind of all the things that players were asking for. Minor tweaks to the classes, moderation. The auction house wasn't extremely, out of whack. Everything seemed like you were going back in time and experiencing classic World of Warcraft with changes that were added appropriately. It made sense, and it provided this experience that players really loved. And Blizzard caught wind of this, and they could see how much people played it. And it was kind of like a Nostalrius situation where you had all these accounts signing up. They said, holy shit, look at all these people playing, Turtle WoW. We need to put an end to this. And I think we're entering a phase in the World of Warcraft history where, it's repeating itself with Nostalrius, right? They're trying to shut the server down. Now they're going for the throat with Turtle WoW. They didn't really, go this hard on Nostalrius, but Nostalrius also shut down right away. But they're really going for the gills on this one. And, regardless if Turtle WoW shuts down or stays up, Blizzard knows. They know what's in the server, they know the content, they know what people want. And this is a really good thing, in my opinion. It's sad to see, them get shut down because it is a cool server. And the devs have made a lot of really cool content that a lot of people like. But at the end of the day, it's Blizzard's IP. You know how it is. They got to do their thing. They got to, sue them, shut them down to protect their intellectual property. But, that's just the way it goes. But Turtle WoW is a great example of what players truly want. And I think if, you took the exact same format, put it on retail, you'd have a massive turnout. Turtle WoW, the private server scene, is only going to ever capture a fraction of the actual players. Because, one, streamers can't play it. People feel uncomfortable about playing a private server. There's just kind of that vibe to it, right? And I think when it comes to Turtle WoW, we're going to see a lot of things come from it in the future. So let me talk about the future a little bit. What comes next? Classic Plus is in the works. This is confirmed. They've already made a host of content for Season of Discovery that you can go in and test now. And you can even have a little bit of fun with it and see kind of what a Classic Plus beta is like. You can get a taste of the new raid, new dungeons, and kind of wet the whistle of what Blizzard's kind of cooking up. It's going to take a lot of time. These things always do. But rest assured, there's some you can try now, and then, you better believe that they're going to be launching with quite a bit in the future. Midnight WoW. So Midnight WoW is definitely the focus. It's the cash cow, it's the money maker. So we're going to be seeing that coming up real soon. Hopefully not classic Warlords of Draenor. Now we know they're working on the Titan Forge server in China, and that's a separate thing. We don't have to worry about that. They're still cooking for America. They're still cooking for the North America and EU. Don't worry, we're good. We're good, guys. More content, more video content. So I think this is really important. This is one of the main reasons I started my channel. The more voices are out there, the more we can talk about it, the more information is out there. It just helps build that buzz of like what we want as a community, and more information is better than less information, obviously. So talk about your ideas, start a channel, make content. It's easy, it's fun. You get to learn a new skill. It's a good time. I've had a really good time. And talk about it. At the very least, talk about it on forums. Talk about it in the Blizzard World of Warcraft forum, Reddit. I'm sure the devs check these things. They're not completely blind and deaf to what we want. They know what we want, and they're going to be working on it. And they're going to, I'm not going to be surprised if they release some stinkers. That's just the nature of how, Blizzard cooks. They're going to release some bad stuff, but I think at the end of the day, they're going to release a lot of good stuff that's going to make a lot of people happy. And a whole lot of waiting. So I think we're going to be waiting quite a while. BlizzCon isn't until 2026. We might get a little taste of something at Warcraft Direct, or some reassurance that, yes, this is a thing that's happening. And I don't want to sound like some crazy conspiracy theorist talking about Classic Plus, like, I can't stop playing Classic WoW. I'm, crazy. Play a different game, quit the game. I get it. Like, Classic World of Warcraft isn't for everybody. And I don't think Classic Plus is going to be for everybody, too. I think the best thing we can do is voice our opinions, tell them what we want, and, you know, hope for the best. And at the end of the day, if it's not what we want, then, you know, find a new game, play it. It sucks, but that's just kind of the way it goes. Yeah, I just want to talk about private servers today and kind of like my thoughts leading into a future of Classic Plus, and what the future looks like and what I'm hopeful for. Trying to be optimistic. You know, I know people aren't too crazy about Blizzard right now, but, you know, I think based off of what we've seen in SOD and based off of what we've seen with Nostalrius and Classic WoW, you know, I do think the devs are listening to a degree. There are going to be some features that we don't like. There's probably going to be some monetization that we don't like, but, you know, these are just the things that we have to deal with, right? So, you know, that's my video about private servers real quick. Comment below what you think you'd like to see in a Classic Plus. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, give it a thumbs down. Tell me why you didn't like it. You know, we can talk about it in the comments. I try to reply to every comment. So yeah, let me know. I'd also like to thank everybody for 250 subscribers. I can't believe it. I just started my channel less than a month ago, so to see the reception to my videos like this, it's been really heartwarming. And at the end of the day, I want to make great content for you guys, so commenting down below really helps, letting me know what you'd like, what you didn't like. You know, I'll respond to every comment I can, positive or negative. So yeah, I'm going to end it there. And those are my thoughts on private servers, kind of going into the future of World of Warcraft. I think the big thing is just, you know, be patient, play other games, and yeah, don't go too crazy watching all the drama videos and getting really worked up about it. Know that it's in the works. You know, we have Classic right now, we have SOD right now that we can play. I'm sure midnight will be an alright time. I know it's not the best for Classic players, but it's, you know, something to do. You know, Battlefield 6, there's tons of games coming out right now. We live in a really good time for gaming, and there's tons of new things coming out, indie games, AAA games. You know, there's lots to do, and, you know, if you're just sick of gaming in general, you know, maybe pick up a hobby like YouTube or touch grass or, you know, something like that. Anyways, until the next video, see you later. Thanks for listening to my rant. You look good today. Other nice things like that. So yeah, see you later, guys.